last drag race day of the year. Sperona's king of the track. Getting the trailer ready, and this is what the morning looks like. This is a view from my brother's house. It's pretty, that's pretty epic. So yeah, so here we go. Get the trailer. We got an extra dragster now. We got 2 of those things, so we're gonna do some bracket racing next year. We got 2 of everything. Got 2 ultra shitty dirt cars too, but that shit is so fun. 10 out of 10, recommend doing that. You can see Mike sustained some good damage last time out, so I don't know if you can see it in the video, but the whole front end's crumpled. But yeah, so I figured I would document all this for today. We're gonna get the blue car ready. We're gonna take it to Street Car Super Nationals, so try to get some test hits on it today. Make sure that it doesn't suck. If it does suck, then I don't know what we do, but well, I guess we'll find out. So, okay, well, that's the introduction, so let's get rolling. Okay, so after missing the call for the first round for Super Pro, so I lost my money there, and then just got my, the car just sped up, went at 67 on that first pre-lunch run, and now I just went 61 riding the brakes. So what an inconsistent piece of shit. But you know, whatever, that's life. So all right, let's make I'm on my way going to do this thing with the blue car. So yeah, hopefully it fucking goes fast. We're gonna find out right now. Oh, there it is right there. Let's do this. Yeah, here we go. So first pass with the automatic, 3,800 RPM, no boost controller going on. I think it'll make 6 or 8 pounds of boost. So Big Hoss is getting suited up. Make this happen. Okay, so hopefully this shit works. Okay, so I didn't bother to record that. Well, maybe I did record it. No, I didn't record it. First pass, so I was playing with this thing, trying to do some street car tune-up because it just runs not perfect on the street. Well, I managed to delete and screw up some of the fuel cells that make it so it'll come up on the brake. So it wouldn't come up on the brake at all. It wouldn't burn out. It wouldn't do anything. It still did go 115 miles an hour, and it looked great doing it. But yeah, I went like 650. So on a 170 60 foot. So let's get this thing to go 135 60 foot. And we got us a little 6.0 hitter, right? So, okay. That's the update. Not very much cool stuff happened. The good news is I did get it to come up on the brake. Oh, and I got my, I actually didn't miss first round and turned the wind light on by like a couple hundreds. So, yeah, today's a good day. Look at this. Trailer, dragster, got the motorhome out, get the family out, eat some food. This is what the racetrack's all about. So, yeah. Okay, till next time. Next time, hopefully in 10 minutes. What is that, Cheyenne?
Camera.
Are we gonna go watch Daddy make a pass right now?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think of the camera?
Cool.
What do you think of the golf cart?
Cool.
Golf cart's fun, huh? All right, so here we go. Let's actually see this thing go fast, hopefully. Now that it'll go on the trans brake, maybe it'll be more gooder. Probably not. That's more gooder is slang for hopefully it'll go fast. Okay, here we go. Getting suited up. Okay, well hopefully this isn't disappointing again. I'm just glad that there's not a lot of people here to see how much we really suck at this. So let's see this happen. Yeah, there we go, that's way better. There we go. Oh no! All right, November 16th. The last time I was here at Mike's house, we were loading up the dragster. We were getting ready. Went to the Barona King of the Track. We wanted to do some testing on the blue car because I was hoping to take it to Streetcar Super Nationals, which would be next week. And we had an unfortunate chain of events that led to the demise of the blue car, shall we say. So it is no more. It is completely, it's totaled. The car, the on-track insurance is going to give us a check. It's already all sorted out, so that worked out. 10 out of 10 recommend getting race car insurance. Do, though, make sure that whatever you're paying for coverage-wise, that it will, in fact, cover it, right? I was a little bit shy on a couple of things. It's okay. I'm not mad. It's just my own fault, so I should have done that better. So that's a side note. But, yeah, so race car insurance, 10 out of 10. So I'm going to flip this thing around. This is the introduction to the video. I've got footage of the actual event at the track that day. I'm going to put everything together from November 3rd and today and then turn this all into it. I've got the time-lapse running. We're taking stuff apart on the car. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to flip this thing around. And it's very sad. So here we go. Into the racetrack. So we made an easy 620 at 116 pass, like no effort, no drama, like a 140 something 60 foot. It looked just so incredibly lazy and so mellow. Nothing crazy happened. Just an easy pass. Like this is just, it's terrible that this all went down like this. But so we kind of think that maybe we didn't have the proportioning valve set tight enough, so we didn't limit enough rear brake. We have these, the Ultra Bitchin' TBMs, the small guys in the front, and then it has the big guys in the back, kind of the standard issue stuff. You can see how bad that caved that wheel in like crazy. So brother got on the brakes, Mike was driving, and it skidded the back tires like a champ. So, I mean, we set the proportioning valve and we bled the brakes, set the proportioning valve. I drove it a whole bunch on the street, tried to make it skid before we really started making passes on it. And, you can see that, skidded all the way down to the belts. And, it happened. So it is what it is, right? It's incredible how well the cage held up. Mike just walked away, he crawled out the front window. So, which is great, So it, right lane, easy pass, 620, 116, got on the brakes, maybe 200 feet past the finish line. It skidded for 100 feet, 150 feet, maybe it's a little further. I didn't get out a tape measure and measure it. I just walked it out and as I was walking back to the starting line, after we swept up the glass and did all that nonsense, I was walking back and maybe it was 100 feet worth, maybe it was 200 feet worth, something along those lines. But it was enough that it just drifted the back end out. And once it's up on top of that, it's all over with, right? Like it just nosed in, however many feet further down. I would say it was going over 100 miles an hour when it hit and it didn't spin it, it just started rolling it. So yeah, I mean, it crumpled all kind of stuff. So our lower control arms, our Super Bitchin' billet control arms held up awesome. It obviously tore that spindle completely out of there. The rack didn't hold up. The rack is totally broken right there, the inner tie rod, and it's got some bend in it right there. Folded all these tabs in, I mean, this is all just kind of normal stuff that you would see on an impact, right? Broke that turbo, broke this spindle too. But this tire still has air in it. But you can see that wheel that rotor is totally mangled. Bent the crap out of that clevis, which is kind of impressive. Totally folded the frame section in right there. You can see better right there. You can really see it when you look at it like that. Totally caved in. Crumpled the floor right there. Buckled the firewall pretty gnarly. I'll take another video from the top side. This door is the only thing that's kind of sort of okay, and even then you can see it's definitely not as good as it was. But this is incredible. Like you can see where the cage is right there in the floor, and it totally held there. It just started destroying it in all kinds of other places. You can see the buckle. The cage is welded across that edge. You can see perfectly where the floor plate is against the rocker, but look how gnarly the rockers rolled in. So yeah, if nothing else, Mike walked away totally unscathed, like not hurt at all. The motor and trans is still good. We've got another car to put all this stuff in. We had on-trac insurance for it. And it's definitely a little piece of confidence seeing one of your roll cages go through something like this and hold up so well. So it's incredible. The seat's bent. Like there's a bunch of stuff I'm going to cover in this video. I'm sure it's going to end up being an hour long again of all kind of stuff, but it's absolutely incredible that some of the damage that this car sustained and the fact that he just willy-nilly walked out the front window. So yeah, that's it. So we're gonna start taking it apart. I got the time-lapse going. We already got water out. You're gonna see kids splashing and throwing trash in there. It's gonna be a great time. So I'm gonna fast forward through a whole bunch of it, but yeah, it'll be good. So let's get rolling. All right, so Sunday, December 1st. It's like a month after this whole debacle, and now we have the car a lot stripped, and it's outside on this little utility trailer that we have, and we're just taking the doors off. Somehow the driver's side door still opens and closes, which is amazing, which means that I'm going to put this driver's side door on the other 63 that I have, because why not? Because it's still good, and it has smoked glass in it, and the chrome looks good. So it'll have one nice door on it, which is totally silly, but that's what I'm going to do. So at any rate, I'm going to flip this thing around, and let's take some more video. Oh, there it is in all of its sadness. So look how gnarly the firewall caved in. Like, that's a kink. Look at the triangular shape right there. Wadded that up pretty good. What's interesting is obviously the intake manifold hit right there, but it wasn't hit, like it wasn't actually touching. So it hit while it was crashing, and then that was that. So I find that kind of interesting. You can see how wild that is smashed right there. Trying to take some bolts off here. So the goal is here, we're gonna try to get the doors off because still got the Holly dash in there, got all the Holly electronics. We need all this stuff. Our goal is the motor from this car in the 63, so we can go to LS Fest. LS Fest! Because we didn't go last year with this car either. And guess what? This car's never going to LS Fest. That's the truth of the matter right there. So the back, all this stuff held up really, really good though. The fuel tank is 100% fine. The whatchamacallit on the bottom's fine. Even the battery actually still has a charge in it. It's fine. It did pinch our little battery hold down right there, but it didn't move too much. So, but yeah, this will be interesting. I can't wait to show everybody like where you could see the imprint of the cage and the body, and you could still reach your hand in between there. Like, it's amazing. That's so bad. So, okay, we'll just hold tight and let's get some more wrenching going on. All right, so these are these cool adjustable seat brackets that we make, and the cage is mounted, sorry, this tube is mounted to the rocker bar right there, runs across the chassis, and then we have these cool brackets that weld directly to that chassis tube. And then we've got this little double shear kind of adjustable rear bracket that goes along with it. We've been making it, we made this one as particularly 3/16. I think we're gonna make a jump to 1/4 inch now. But you got this double, two tabs there that bolts through this slot and then has that pivot adjustment there. It did bend a little bit. There was a little bit of give there. You can kind of see from the seat. It's a little rock in the seat. It's a little bow right there. So there was a little bit of give in the seat. So maybe look towards adding a little bit more rigidity there. But we always do our cars with the belts wrapped. So he was still tight, like he was held in good. I mean, enough that look at the height difference in the seats now between the passenger and driver side. They were the same height before. They're not the same height anymore. Yeah, so, here, this is, look at this buckle on the toe board. It's really, really, really smashed. Kind of impressive. Okay, keep on going. All right, so just got the seat out, and these are these cool tabs that we make. So you got this press brake tab right here that has holes in it, welds to the chassis tube there, and then this guy is on the side. So they're a little bit heavy, but they I feel super good about them when I mount them in cars. And check that out. So that is, look at that bend in that thing. I mean, that is 2 3/8 bolts on both sides right there, and that's 3/16 with a 90-degree press brake in it, and it put that wave in it. Like, man, that's super gnarly. Super glad Mike just walked away from this. Like, holy shit, what a crash. Okay, well, this is the very last piece of the blue car video. The only thing that's left to take out of it is just this air compressor. Yeah, the air compressor, and then chop it up into little bitty pieces so we can actually like throw it away because there's nothing left of it. But yeah, I figured I wanted to show a couple of kind of show how hard like the inside of the car hit the roll cage, and like how much a roll cage will definitely save your ass in the event of an accident like this. And just kind of just finish up and show a couple more things. So I've walked up, I'm standing next to the trunk. You could see like during the crash, it like completely tore the trunk lid or the trunk hinge mechanism off of there. Tore it, like tried to tear the whole thing off the car right there. Like this is, I'm pretty sure the slash in the quarter panel is from the deck lid, when the deck lid wrapped around itself. Man, you can see the floor obviously hit right there. The battery rolled, and you can see that it hit kind of right there. And then just like kind of looking this way inboard, you can just see how much the whole roof is just caved over. And so let's go this way. So looking up inside of here, so you can see, look at that giant bend, gash. I don't even know what you want to call it. Like, look at how hard that hit the cage right there. Like, that's incredible. Look at that giant dent. So obviously doing this in a car without a cage would be catastrophic, to say the least. So you can see, let's see right there. You can see the cage hit right in there. You can see the buckle in the roof right there. Take this thing down a little bit. Giant buckle there. And then looking in this way, you can see that big old tattoo. It's just round from it hitting the cage right there. I'm just kind of looking in through the front, because we have actually everything stripped off, so you can totally see all the stuff. Like there's, you could see the roof pillars. Like look at how bent the roof is. And it split this pillar. It's broken right there, and split it in half. Broke it right there. You see the cage is touching here. Used to not touch right there. You can see that everything shifted and bent and hit right there. On the driver's side, the inside of the door, there's a spot where obviously the cage, oh, you can see another good spot. Look at that. So it hit right there. Look at that swipe mark from it. Pretty incredible. So if you crash a 63 Chevy 2 hardtop at 100 plus miles an hour and roll it a whole bunch of times, it's pretty much, it's pretty ruined. So like, how did that happen? My only guess is that it was the deck lid. Like, look how bad the panel is. I don't know, it's incredible. It's really bad. Taillights survived though. We're gonna put those taillights on the other car. Same thing as this bumper. This bumper's going on that car too. I was just gonna put a Band-Aid right here. I think it's really great. So yeah, altogether, pretty sad to see, but you can always build another car. You can't build you can't replace a human being though. So keep that in mind when you're dreaming about your safety. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can just see it's just really, really bad. Really bad. Okay, well, that's the beginning of this video. Started the same spot overlooking the beautiful valley over there, and it's gonna end in that same spot. So yeah, I've got some got a little bit more editing to do, and until next time, YouTube, appreciate it. All right, so just finished this editing this video. You know, I've been working on it for, well, I haven't been working on it per se, but you know, making all the film clips, it took a little while. Like I think we crashed the thing on November 2nd, and then we didn't start working on taking it apart till the 16th, and then didn't finish it until sometime like in December or whatever. But so now it's all the way January 15th. Holy crap, 2025 already going. So I have so many thoughts with all of this. So the it's just interesting how easy it is to pile one of these cars up, and so I've never really been one to even put a lot of thought into it, but we've been doing this drag race brake thing, right? So all of our drag race brakes, little tiny brakes in the front, big brakes in the back. And so if you take into account rotational mass of a big gigantic tire in the back and a little tiny tire in the front, there's definitely some support there, right? And like you could use a little more brake to stop that rotational mass. But what I find interesting is why do the OEMs not do that? So OEMs always have, when you think about it, the front brakes are always significantly more substantial than the rear brakes. And even in this case, like an extreme case, look at a street bike. Like a street bike has a significantly smaller tire in the front than it does in the back, and those things will have massive, giant diameter brakes, maybe dual brakes on the front wheel, right? And so I imagine some of that is like a heat fade thing as well, but that's a tremendous difference in the stopping force on that front wheel. So um, we've just kind of, I've always just kind of gone with it. You know, you put the drag race front brakes on there, and they're small and lightweight and roll nice, and they're killer. And then we put the drag race rear brakes on the back, and they're super nice too. And but they got 4 pistons instead of 2 pistons, so they obviously have more clamping force. It was my original intention to go through and have my engineering buddy help me math out what the potential clamping force would be, but I think it's pretty obvious from just watch videos, right? Like how many times do you see a parachute failure or a cable doesn't come out? You know, whatever caused the parachute failure is irrelevant, but the driver goes to slam on the, gets on the brakes aggressively, and then you see a hoof of smoke and the back tire skid. It's always like never really thought much of it, other than just like, wow, it's kind of sketchy, right? Because back tire skid and it wants to crash because it's gonna, right? Think e-brake slide when you're 16 years old out on a dirt road, and but never really gave much thought to it, right? So here we are in the situation where Mike got on. He was not even that fast, 116 or whatever it was mile per hour, and he got on the brakes and got on them aggressively and skidded the car, skidded those back tires. Like you could see in the video early on that it skidded all the way down to the cords, right? And so once it got stepped out, that's the end of that. So the I was looking at, I randomly had a brake pressure sensor in the car because we were, not randomly I guess, because we had the manual transmission in it, and so the manual transmission, we wanted to have a brake pressure sensor, so for staging the car you kind of knew where you were at. And on the first pedal pump, Mike made like 850 psi, and then on the but I in the main line, and then the front brakes, that is, not main line, in the front brakes, and then the second pump you tap the 1500 psi sensor out. So obviously you got on the brakes too hard, so like just is what it is, right? And so but there obviously was not enough proportioning valve to restrict enough flow to the back to make it so it wasn't going to skid the back. So, but I also think you got an additional element, an additional element working with this. So, I'm looking at the shock sensor, and you can see goes through the finish line. Front end's extended up. I think 3 inches higher than it was when it was sitting at right height. And you see him get on the brakes. You can see the brake pressure build, and see the brake pressure build, and you can just see the front end, just it goes, that 3 inches of travel is lost, and then it digs down 2 inches below ride height, right? So there's just a big swing of travel in this thing. So obviously all the weight is going forward and applying more force onto the front end. Well, the back end, you can see in the shock sensor data that the rear end just stays extended. So no weight is really added to the back. It's just still floating up, right? Like it's still above ride height, so it's lighter than it would be even with the static weight of the car sitting on it. And the front end is really heavy. So it kind of just makes me wonder why we still do this tiny front brake thing and big rear brake thing. I'm sure there's all kinds of maybe there's gonna be lots of commentary. Maybe nobody will even watch this, and it won't even matter, and there won't be anything to nobody will have anything to say. But I find it interesting, like all the brakes are this way, right? Like it's been like this for a long time. Think about how everybody does this. Strange, TBM, all of them, right? Like all the major brake manufacturers, and that's all this parts are all this stuff is super nice. In fact, I would like to add that I had the brake pressure sensor on the car, and I've driven this car a whole bunch of miles. Tried to skid it, and just playing with it, just it's normal stuff, right? Like I like to make sure that the car will work well because we were going to drive it on drag week. So I wanted to know, like, if I got into a situation and you needed to apply the brakes hard, like, would it skid? And I didn't hit the brake. Obviously, I clearly did not hit the brakes as hard as Mike hit the brakes on that Saturday. So, but I was always impressed the sensation of stopping force that you got from the TBM brakes versus how much brake pressure was actually made. I found that to be pretty impressive. So like 150, 200 psi, you're like, wow, there's quite a bit of brake. There's quite a bit of sensation of slowing down. So they work really well. Like they definitely make good friction, and they definitely slow the car down good. So this is not an indictment of any of the brake manufacturers specifically. This is a more of like a, maybe we've been doing this. Maybe there needs to be more effort put into how do we stop the rear from locking up, because like I said, the OEMs don't do this. The OEMs all have big front brakes and small rear brakes. That's just is, right? Like there's no arguing it. You can go out and go look at your Honda Civic. Like your Honda Civic will have small ass brakes on the back, and they'll still be small in the front, but they'll be comparatively bigger, right? So the disparity between the sizes on the vehicle. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's something there to at least ponder, kind of just think about, dream about. So that's all I got. Thanks for watching the video. Let me know what you think. I know that this we took all of this drivetrain componentry and stuck it in the 63, the hardtop 63 that I was trying to sell with the 25 3 cage in it. So fortunately enough, nobody bought it off me. So I had another car to put together, and our goal is to take this thing to LS Fest this year. So that's like today is the 15th of January. So that's in not that long is what that is. And so yeah, that motor, the automatic, all the stuff that made it run, we'll put it in that we'll put it in that other car, and yeah, so that's kind of where we're headed. So yeah, let me know what you think. It's kind of just my 8.5 minutes of rambling on about pretending like somebody cares what I have to say. No, I'm just kidding. But it is definitely just there's just so much to think about. I didn't want the death of this car to go without learning something, right? Like, it has to be something to learn. So I reviewed that data a whole bunch. Like I feel like I made mistakes on the. Well, I'm just gonna keep going. So I made mistakes on. I had left the data log on only 10 seconds. So because we were street driving it so much, right? So you would pull. I don't need 500 data logs in the damn to review, right? So I had left it at just a 10-second data log, and so putting the thing on the trans brake, going WOT, waiting for the light to drop. Well, I'm like missing some of the data from the crash, and I'm just like, oh, that was so dumb. I wish I had it. I wish it was more conclusive. So all I have is shock data. You can see where he lifts. You can see the front end dive. You can see the build up of the brake pressure, and then it's cuts off, which is lame. But whatever, it is what it is. So the other thing is the insurance aspect. So we bought on-trac insurance for it because I figured, it's funny because my original thought was I was going to get on-trac insurance because I wanted to take it on drag week, and I was worried about somebody else crashing into us. And then here we are making singles runs on a nice calm day and just pile the thing up and destroy it. That's just a testament to you never know when it's going to happen. But make sure that when you're filling out your thing, I shout out to Laris Motorsports. Those guys are fantastic to deal with, easy. What they say is what they'll do. So if you insure your car for $475, you're going to get $475 back minus the deductible. So keep that in mind when you're laying this out and you think like, oh yeah, I've got it, I've got this, that, or I don't have this, whatever the situation is, just, be, I guess, try to figure out what it really is. So I missed it by a little bit, but not enough to be like, I'm not going to piss and moan about it. It was still like, by the grace of God, like I've never had that on-track insurance. And then this is the first time I had it. And then holy crap, did that work out? So yeah, that's that's something to think about too if you're going to get that on-track insurance. I 10 out of 10 recommend it. Laris, give those guys a shot. Like Bailey over there, dude, killed it. Like just easy to deal with. It was great. So that's another kind of little thing to think about. And then driver safety. So we built that car from scratch in the shop, 100%. Cage, everything welded in house, you name it. Like the seat mounts, the seat, we didn't make the seat, it's Kirky seat, but we made the seat mounts, the design for mounting the seat to that chassis tube that runs across the rocker bars, all that stuff. Mike had his neck restraint on and had his fire suit and had all of his stuff, right? And he just like the car rolled 3 times at least. You can't tell, but just you can't tell in the video, and there is no more video of it, at least that I'm aware of. But the amount of damage and the speed that it was traveling when it hit the wall, like it looks like it pitched in, and when it hit, it went over at least once and then slammed, rolled 2 more times. And so, but he walked away, like no injuries. The steering wheel, you should see that the steering wheel is completely mangled just from, the hit. And we had this little Switch Pros guy for doing the ignition and stuff on it, and that thing fucking ripped off and shot out the window. And fortunately enough, Lee at the racetrack found it out in the bushes, so that was cool. But the dress for the party, had all his right stuff on, belts were up to date, all the stuff, and you should definitely be concerned about who puts your car together. Like, make sure that it's complete, make sure all the stuff's there. It's like, passing tech is one thing, but you actually being confident in that event, like get going 120 miles an hour and just make a left-hand turn and slam it into the wall, right? And he went from the right lane to the left lane, so at least you get a whole lane worth of traversing to hit that other wall. So I know I've seen countless cars crash over the time that I've been going to the racetrack, but it's just, it's always lame to watch, and it's always just like, oh no. And hey, it was fine. He walked away, everything was fine. So in my view, I think it's it's unfortunate, but it's fantastic because he gets to drive again. Well, we're gonna go play race cars again here shortly. Hopefully, we'll be at we got a pair of dragsters, so we do bracket racing because that's what we got here locally. But this is what it is. It's great. But yeah, we're gonna do the I still want to do this drag and drive thing. I've dreamed about it for 10 years now, so I'm not gonna give up on that just yet, even though we piled our car up that we made for it in 4 seconds. That's funny. But so thanks for watching, and let me know what you think. And yeah, we're gonna move on. I'm gonna start, the videos will shift from the blue car to the gray/green/patina car. So I think I posted like one picture of it on Instagram not too long ago, but yeah, it'll have some parts left over from a bunch of parts left over from the blue car because it worked out that all the stuff's the same and it's going to go in the other car. So appreciate you guys. And until next time, talk to you later.